Welcome to Horseshoe Politics. Today is October 5th, 2020. This means that the presidential election is only 29 days away from today. The 2020 presidential election will take place on November 3rd, 2020, and that is just over 4 weeks from today. It's finally here, it's almost here, just 4 more weeks, and we can finally see the actual results of Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. We've been waiting for this for several months, ever since middle of March, when Joe Biden originally was basically declared the winner of the primaries after he won Florida, Arizona, and Illinois, all three of those Democratic primaries on the same day on March 17th. Ever since then, it was basically confirmed that he would be the Democratic nominee. And coincidentally, middle of March, around that time period, that's exactly when the pandemic started badly affecting the United States. And that's when the day to day lives of us Americans started getting severely affected in middle of March, right when the primaries ended and the general election began, because it was basically confirmed it would be Biden versus Trump in middle of March. Here's the thing though, so much has changed between middle of March and now. What I mean by this is that Trump's re-election chances have gotten much, much worse over the course of 2020, while Biden's chances of getting elected have gotten much, much better over the course of 2020. I actually remember at the start of this year, around January and February of 2020, I gave Trump around an 80% chance of winning re election. Things were looking really good for Trump back in early 2020, January and February of 2020. In these 2 months, Trump's re election chances were looking really good because, first of all, he had a good economy to brag about. Unemployment numbers were looking decent for him. The stock market was looking decent for him. There's also no major crisis going on in the country at this time. This is also right around when Trump failed to get kicked out of office by the Senate because after he got impeached by the House of Representatives in December, the Senate then had to vote on whether or not he would get kicked out of office. And because the Senate is controlled by Republicans, only 48 people voted to kick out Donald Trump. Every Democrat plus Mitt Romney. But that's nowhere near the 67 votes that were needed to kick out Donald Trump out of office. So Donald Trump was vindicated. So Trump's re-election chances were looking really good back in early 2020. He had good economy numbers. There was no social unrest, no economic unrest. The economy is looking relatively good for him. Also, his primary turnout was really good. In the Republican primaries, despite Trump not having any major opposition, he still had a really high turnout in the Republican primaries. And at the same time, the Democratic primaries seemed really divisive. You had a lot of people supporting candidates like Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren. Joe Biden was actually not doing well in the Democratic primaries to begin with. He, in fact, got fourth place in the Iowa primaries and fifth in the New Hampshire primaries, so it actually looked like Joe Biden wouldn't even win the primaries for a while. But then, because most of the other candidates dropped out right before Super Tuesday, Joe Biden was eventually able to win the primaries because most of the Pete Buttigieg supporters, most of the Amy Klobuchar supporters, they started supporting Biden after they dropped out. And then it was just a 1v1 Bernie Sanders versus Joe Biden, and then Joe Biden was able to win the upcoming primaries after Super Tuesday. So this is how we ended up with Donald Trump versus Joe Biden in the general presidential election. Here's what's changed though since March of 2020, since middle of March 2020. We now have a pandemic that has killed over 200,000 people in the United States and has infected several million people in this country. The funny thing is that the first COVID case actually was reported in the United States on January 20th, 2020, which would be exactly 1 year before he would have gotten re inaugurated. Because if Trump were to get re elected in the upcoming election, he would officially get re inaugurated on January 20th, 2021. So this was exactly 1 year before that date. And I remember thinking that Trump had a really good chance of getting reelected. I gave him like an 80% chance, like I said, of getting reelected. But literally that day is when the first coronavirus case was reported in the United States. And that disease itself is the biggest reason why Trump's reelection chances went right down the drain, starting from, I guess, March of 2020. But even though the first case showed up in January, the pandemic didn't really affect the US badly until March of 2020. So from early 2020 up until now, Trump's re-election chances have been slowly getting worse and worse, and Biden's have slowly been getting better and better. But here we are on October 5th, 2020, over 6 months after the COVID 19 pandemic initially started affecting the United States badly. If you look at this chart that's currently on screen now, According to this chart, Biden now has an 81% chance of getting elected as president in the upcoming election, while Trump only has an 18% chance of getting reelected now. Now, this is on 538.com. I've talked about this projection model several times on my channel because of how accurate it is. It was really good at predicting the outcome of the 2016 presidential election, and I think that this is one of the most accurate projection models there are for the 2020 presidential election. But up until now, Biden's re-election chances have been hovering in the 70 to 80% range, according to 538.com, while Trump's has been hovering between 20 and 30%. But when I checked 538.com this morning and I saw this on the website, it really caught my attention. Because for the first time throughout this entire election season, Biden had above an 80% chance of winning re-election. According to this election model, I thought that was insane. The fact that he finally broke the 80% mark while Trump went under 20%. Trump finally dipped under 20%. I thought that this was really bad news for Trump. And it makes sense if you look at everything that's currently going on. The latest update on the state of the 2020 presidential election is that now Trump has officially been diagnosed with COVID-19, as well as his wife and many other members of his administration. I think there was some super spreader event that took place in his administration, so many of the members in his administration are now diagnosed with COVID-19. So what this means for Trump is that, first of all, his health might be in potential danger because he is old and overweight. But even if he recovers from this virus without suffering any major health consequences, which is definitely pretty likely considering the fact that since he is the president of the United States, he has access to probably the highest standards of medical care and probably the highest standards of medicine and treatments, it definitely is likely that he recovers without any major health effects, but we also still have to see. But even ignoring his health, he won't be able to participate in any more rallies or any more debates because he will need to be quarantined for at least the next 12 days because he officially got tested for the infection on October 1st slash October 2nd. It was like late at night, October 1st. So if you add 2 weeks to that, that would be October 15th to 16th. Today's October 5th. So I guess it would be 10 more days would be the minimum he would need to quarantine. Whether or not he actually quarantines, I'm not sure if he's going to follow the guidelines, but he should be quarantined for 2 weeks. But it's unclear whether or not he will be doing any more rallies or any more debates for the rest of the election cycle. I mean, if he's actually following the 2 week quarantine guideline, he definitely wouldn't be participating in the second debate. And considering that he is in the higher risk categories for this virus, 74 years old and overweight, it will probably take him more than 2 weeks to fully recover from this virus. So if you're just looking at it from a health perspective, he probably wouldn't be able to compete in the last debate either, which would be around October 22nd, because for people like him, it would probably take around closer to 3 weeks to recover from this virus, considering that he is at a higher risk of getting severely harmed by this virus. So it would make sense that it would take longer for him to recover than like a normal person. Now, I would like to put the 81% chance that Biden currently has of winning into context by comparing it to the rest of 2020, more specifically just since June of 2020, when 538.com first actually started keeping track of the chances of each candidate winning. So back in June of 2020, Biden had around a 70% chance of getting reelected, while Trump had around a 30% chance of winning. This was around the high point for Trump and the low point for Biden, but ever since then, for the most part, Biden's chances got better while Trump's got worse. I think it once again peaked around August or early September, late August to early September. It peaked for Trump again. He went right back up to like 33, 31, 32% around there, while Biden dipped to around 70% or like 68% around there. But after that peak for Trump, he fell right back down again to the 20s. And when I last looked at this model and made a video about it on my channel, Trump had like a 23% chance of getting reelected. The last time I included a picture of the election standings based on 538.com's prediction model, it gave Biden a 77% chance and Trump a 23% chance of getting elected last time I checked. But now it's even higher for Biden and even lower for Trump. This is an all-time high for Biden and an all-time low for Trump. For the first time this entire election cycle, Biden finally broke the 80% mark, while Trump finally dipped below 20%. So Biden, according to his model, has now an over 80% chance of becoming president, while Trump has only around an 18% chance of getting reelected, which spells out really bad news for Trump because this means that Trump is currently at an all-time low in his campaign, and this is probably the worst possible time to be hitting an all-time low, considering the fact that the election is less than a month away. Yeah, less than a month away, October 5th, November 3rd. The election is really close by. It'll take a really big miracle for Trump to win. He doesn't even have the debates to help him out if he actually following his quarantine. Whether or not he actually follows the quarantine guidelines and whether or not his health actually improves, I'm not exactly sure. The thing about Trump's health is that it's really up in the air. Some people say one thing, some people say another. Kind of reminds me of Kim Jong Un's situation earlier this year when people thought that he was having serious health problems, but it turned out he was fine. But it's similar with Trump, I guess. We don't know what's going on with him. He might be fine, he might not. We're gonna have to wait a few weeks to fully find out. But there's definitely a good chance that the next two debates, presidential debates, get canceled. And if that's the case, the only debate left is the one in 2 days with Vice President Mike Pence versus Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris. So that's the only debate left that's confirmed to happen, while the other two presidential debates are still up in the air. But the debates, I think, helped out Trump more than Clinton in 2016, and they're definitely one of the reasons why Trump won in 2016. And I think that's one of the things Trump was definitely banking on to win this election now in 2020. It's what I was talking about in one of my previous videos. I said he needed to crush Biden in the last two debates in order to have a chance at getting reelected, but based on how the first debate went, that's not likely, even if he participates in the debates. But like I talked about, he might not even participate in the debates. And like I said in a previous video, if the debate doesn't happen or if there's no clear winner of the debate, the default winner is the one who's already winning. So if Biden is currently up in the polls, even if neither candidate does well in the debate, if both do equally badly, then the default winner of the debate is the one who's already doing well in the polls. Because if nothing changes, that goes in favor for the candidate who's already doing well. Because the goal of the underdog in a debate is to change the trend and start doing better than your opponent. But Trump was not able to do that in the first debate, and right after that debate, he got infected with coronavirus, which may or may not help his re-election chances. I actually can't tell whether this would help or hurt him. It could help in that a few people vote for him who previously wouldn't because they feel bad for him. It's also possible that Trump getting infected with COVID-19 could hurt his re-election chances. Maybe some people think that him getting infected with the virus shows that he didn't take enough precautions for the country as a whole when dealing with the pandemic, and he didn't do enough to fight the pandemic. And maybe him actually getting the virus could symbolize that in the minds of some people, symbolize the fact that he didn't handle the pandemic well enough. But we really don't know until election day actually comes around, because that's when we can actually see the results of this election. The last thing that I want to show you in this video are the most recent polls of Trump versus Biden in the national election, the national popular vote, meaning these polls included people from all 50 states plus Washington, D.C., and it's just giving an overall look at how good each candidate is currently performing. But look at the average. I would like you to look at the average of all these polls, which is in the yellow bar. Biden plus 8.5. That means Biden is doing 8.5 percentage points better than Trump in the national popular vote, in the general election vote, according to these polls, than Trump. This is actually a really big deal. This almost never happens where you have one candidate doing over 8 percentage points better than the other. This has not happened in the last several election cycles. This did not happen in 2016. Clinton was only doing like 3 to 4 percentage points better than Trump around this time. This did not happen in 2012 with Romney versus Obama, or in 2008 with McCain versus Obama, or even 2004 with Kerry versus Bush. It did not happen in 2000 with Gore versus Bush also. This is a really rare scenario where you have one candidate doing this much better than another in the general election polls. I know, the national popular vote doesn't determine the outcome of the winner. I know that, but here's the thing. It's really hard to win the popular vote by 8 percentage points without also winning the electoral college. It's not impossible, but it's really hard though. Even if the popular vote isn't plus 8.5 Biden on election day, even if it's like plus 5 Biden, that's still more than enough to win the electoral college also. Because Clinton got plus 3 in the popular vote in 2016, that was almost enough for her to also win the electoral college. But if Biden gets like even plus 5 in the popular vote in the actual election, then he can win this election for sure. This is basically it for this video, but I would just like to say that everything I've talked about in this video about Biden having a good chance of getting elected, that could all change, so just look out in the next few weeks to see what happens.